Will your bank crash because of coronavirus? We will never crash, ever! In uncertain times, uncertain events happen. So, is your money safe? In just 2 months, HSBC fell by -33% and Citibank fell by -55% and Barclays fell by -56%. Clearly, it is alarming and it echoes what happened in the crisis from 2008 when the subprime almost broke the banks. Do you remember what happened? Panic. Thousands and thousands of people wanted to have their money back and banks closed their doors because they did not have enough money to retain their liquidity. Most of the banks invested your money somewhere else. That's when the central banks came to help and provided help for those banks to give them liquidity, so in turn they could give the cash back to all their customers. After the crisis, central banks realized how unprepared were banks and had to put things in place. What does that mean? Massive reforms happened. Banks had to start to comply with regulations to show that they were enough strong to hold for a new crisis, to have good assets, to invest in a much better and safer way. This meant having enough cash in their pockets, not investing in risky assets, and have enough capital to cover for any losses. The paradise of a golden era came to an end. And also you could hear some bankers crying over the past golden years. The banks were becoming more solid-proof against any crisis that could happen. We are prepared to make the crisis start. And coronavirus came. So no, we are not in the same position as in 2008. Your bank is stronger than before. It has more cash, less debt, less risky assets, and less risky investments. Because if your bank falls, it doesn't fall alone. An economy cannot survive without a bank. The bank provides credit for everyone, and people need credit to grow an economy. An economy cannot survive without credit, bank accounts, or even payment systems. The governments know this perfectly, and because of this would never allow a bank to fall again. Another measure that the central banks took was to actually protect your deposit from being lost. They have guaranteed to protect your cash in the bank account up to $100,000 per person. This means if you have $101,000 in your bank account, you only need to worry for $1,000, which is okay. So check if your bank has a deposit protection. Now, after the crisis from 2008, small banks and small fintech came to life and provided those services that the bank could not provide any longer. So if you are using those providers, make sure your funds are protected, make sure they comply with regulations. If they don't, I would recommend you to move your belongings to a larger bank, a larger institution which would comply with the deposit protection and all the regulations in place to make sure that they are strong enough to survive this crisis.